And it seems the busier we are, the quicker time goes. And the older you get, the faster time goes. I've never understood that, but everybody thinks so. Time is important. And so, Doc Braccio, it's Regional Psychological Services Day with our What's Up, Doc segment. Our good pal, Dr. John Braccio. Time from a psychological standpoint. Doc, good morning.
Well, good morning to you, Mike. And really the statements, time flies and time waits for no one, these really are quotations that give a good perspective on time and therefore our lives. Because really time is a limited commodity we all have and makes up our lives. Okay. The sad thing is, like you mentioned, so many persons and they have lives with this precious and non-renewable, commodity, but it's wasted on thoughts and activities that bring no pleasure and can be toxic to them from a mental health and physical health perspective. Recognizing we have control over our time becomes important to have a life filled with meaningful experiences that make life enjoyable and wonderful experience. To not make the choice to use the time that we have, which is really our life, and have a happy and meaningful life can lead to really lives filled with great unhappiness and suffering. To me, it's a logical and reasonable decision to make the time we have meaningful and enjoyable. Things to choose to have our time on earth lead to a happy and meaningful life would include doing things like decluttering yourself of persons and activities that are stressful, make life difficult. Surround yourself with persons who make you feel better. It certainly makes sense. Choose wisely those who, by having them, you gain as a person. Determine if the time spent in a job is enjoyable. And if not, determine if seeking a different job, changing the quality of the job you have, looking at the job from a different perspective, or adding things such as music or some other elements can make the time spent more enjoyable. And then determine if you will think positively and eliminate negativity from your thoughts. Sounds basic, but hard to do for a lot of people. Determine if watching the amount of television you do is meaningful enough for it to be taking so much of the time that you have. Do the same with social media, and seek out new activities and projects that will make your time more meaningful. Seek out spirituality and purpose in life to make your time on earth more meaningful. Fully recognize what precious commodity, really how precious this time is, and recognize it can never be brought back. Once it's done, it's done. And if one is able to do these things, the probabilities of their time on earth being really used in a meaningful manner and having a resulting happier life are much higher than having a hit and miss life that most persons are in when they do not fully realize how precious time is and how critical it is to use this brief period of time that we call lifetime, enjoyable and meaningful manner. We kind of just don't think about it, Mike, but there's one shot for your life, and once time is gone, we live in the now. Once it's gone, it's gone. And if we don't utilize it, we're really literally wasting our time, if you will. So I do think we need to, take a time out, just to sit back and say, golly, what am I doing with my life? What's happening to the time that I have? Because every second that's gone is gone. And, the seconds add up to minutes, to hours, to days, to weeks, to years, and poof, the life is gone. So might just as well use that time efficiently and enjoy it and have a good life. So it's a very, transit commodity, if you will.
A lot of times, we'll, I don't know, but people like that, where it's sort of like life just happens to them.
Yes.
And it's easy to fall into that trap where, you got to buy eggs, you got to pay for, the car, you got to, next thing you know, the transmission goes out and, well, we don't have the money to get that done, or I don't know, whatever.
Sure.
And it's how you handle those things and schedule your time around those. You can still find time. In fact, I dare say you have to find time to recreate, to get away from that. What do you do? What do you do with your time? Doc, what do you do to get away?
Well, I think you have to call the classic the time out. You just sit down, you look at your life, and you've got to figure, what have I done? And, sometimes we fill our lives with time, or with the time we have, and we fill it with things that really don't get us a lot. I mean, a lot of it can be a waste of time, just numbing experience or just going from here and going to there. You do have to sit back and look at who you're with. You've got to look at what you're doing. You've got to figure, what does this mean? You don't want to wake up, and a lot of people do. People wake up, it could be 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, doesn't matter when, and they'll say, I've really wasted so much time. I've not been with people that I ought to have been with or could have been with, didn't have the job I might have had, I could have had. All these things, and time was so critical as it was just rushing by. It was literally not fulfilling a purpose, like having a water on, just a faucet, just going and going, and you're just, wasting it. And I see this so much in people, like not just in my work, but just walking the road of life, people that just have wasted and continue to waste so much time. They'll get in a rut, and they'll even say, I'm not happy. I watch too much of this television, or I think too much about this, and I'll say, listen, take a time out. Really, time is precious. We can believe in an afterlife very strongly, but this is the time that we know that we have now, and we just want to utilize it as best we can. And so many people don't and can't.
We get so wrapped up in yesterday's done. It's done. Past, gone, done.
Yes.
And you're not promised you're going to wake up tomorrow. I hate to say it that way. Tomorrow's tomorrow. Literally, but it's hard for us to wrap our heads around that. One of the things I remember is my mother, God rest her soul, I was there by her side holding her hand when she passed. And I asked, meaning, can I get you some water? Can I raise your head up? That kind of thing. Ma, can I get you anything? She looked me in the eyes, Doc, and she said, more time. Oh, man. I'm not kidding you. It cut me to the core. She didn't mean it that way. She just was speaking, so yeah, time is a precious thing.
That's a wonderful example, Mike, because I think all of us can use it. Your mother certainly may have had a lot of time, but the time that we have is, once it ends, it ends. And so we want to make sure that we use as much of it as we can, because I'm sure your mother would have commented, she loved the time with you and experiences.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But would like to have had more. So before that, the clock runs out, take a look at your life and say, do things to make your life more meaningful. Whatever those things might be that you haven't done, or you could do differently, you can do better. And just look at life as it can clutter. Not just you clutter your house, but you can clutter your life. Clutter your thinking, just clutter. And when you more streamline it, you more enjoy the time, then you really can have a more meaningful and a more satisfying life. But time is like just every second it's gone. We live in the now, and that now is over the years is what fills up our whole life, and that is time. And really, time flies and time waits for no one. Those are really good opening quotes to keep in mind.
And a good spot to end our segment this week, because we're up on time, Doc. I wish we had more. But every week, right here, Dr. John Braccio, our What's Up Doc segment, Regional Psychological Services, Dr. John B. on the web. God love you. Have a great week, and we'll chat next week.
Same to you, and then we'll share some more time, my friend. Look forward to talking to you. Bye-bye.
All right, see you later.